Always. Where's your buddy Glover?
Oh my gosh, this program ends on Monday. I am so excited. So excited to almost be done with this. This is the second time it was offered to the general public, and it's the second time I've taken it. And it kicked my butt the first time. And it kicked my butt again this time. And I'm gonna sign up for it again next year.
And what do you do?
Activities that I should be doing anyway as an agent, right? It's just the accountability here. When we don't have accountability, we can easily.
You don't have a coach, do you?
I don't. I used to. We had that conversation before. I had some great coaches. I'm coachless right now.
Coachless. Coachless. All right, let's see here. Get this thing up and running.
So I recognize you from this morning and your pretty hair. However, that's not the name I recognize.
That's
How would you like to correct your name? If you look at the three dots in the top right corner, you can rename the square to reflect your actual name.
I don't see the three squares.
If you put your cursor on your Zoom square, you'll see three dots in the top right corner. Okay.
It's not coming up. It just have leave.
Would you like to tell me how to spell your name? I'll spell it for you. I'll write it in.
Tennesia, Taylor, Taylor.
So there's no H? So is that correct? And is it pronounced Tanisha? Okay.
Yeah. So let's see if I get my TV on here. Give me 1 second. What's going on with this thing? This sometimes works, sometimes doesn't.
It's like her last day where it's still is able to be getting her composure and it bit strong. Good job. Oh my God.
Let's see what happens. All right, I got 1 o'clock straight up. Let me get my desk down. Good to see some familiar faces. Frank, you're a lucky guy today. You gonna go out and buy some lottery tickets?
Sure.
Everybody, if you're joining live or joining via YouTube or watching a video on this, I'm Denny Grimes. I'm coming to you from my studio in Southwest Florida. We've got our group of regulars, and I trust if you're not a member so far on my YouTube channel, you'll subscribe and invite other people. Just give them the URL, dennysmastery.com, and it'll take you right to the live version, and go to YouTube, Denny Grimes Mastery of Real Estate, and you'll be able to see all the recordings. It's the 15th of November already, and I want to start with something because as I mentioned on my recon, I do a daily one in the morning. Most of you guys are on it. I have noticed I probably haven't done a very good job of clarifying the positioning or pricing conversation with the seller, because I'm having people kind of misinterpret it a little bit. So I want to just spend like 3 or 4 minutes and give you the basics of it, and that'll be the thought of the day for me. And then we'll go to what to go to. And I'm just going to call it, here's my positioning strategy for sellers. So again, I am doing my best to get rid of the pricing word. I like the positioning word better. I think it's more accurate because it is about position, isn't it? And so I have a couple of steps broken down here. 1, and I picked this up at training yesterday. Strategically share with the seller as you sit down what you know. And I'm just going to take a step back. When you go into the listing presentation, there's a couple schools of thought. You take a look at the house by yourself, or you take a look at the house with the seller. That's a taste great, less filling light beer commercial, if you ask me. Here's the most important thing. Love their home. However that comes out for you. Appreciate their home and understand their motivation. So that would be the goal. If you're going to take them walking you through the home and the Gilligan 3-hour tour, appreciate their home and understand their motivation by the time you get back to the table. So that's why then number 1 is strategically share with what you know. And the way the key word there, and I've never said this, I don't want you to share everything you know, because you might just confuse the heck out of them. I want you to use the information strategically that would be necessary to kind of demonstrate. For example, I had a lady in my class yesterday, and I don't know what you think about this, Louise, because you're a student of the listing presentation. I had 2 people on my panel, and one lady said, I only bring 2, I don't like the word comps, but 2 data points, 2 past sales, 2 actives. The other guy only brings 3. Well, let's just assume there was like 13 properties that are active. Can you see maybe the benefit, or 13 past sales, that you don't have to use all of them? So that's why I want you to use, does that make sense to you, Louise?
Mhm.
I've never heard anyone say a hard number, but I think people think in 3s, and I don't want you to be selective about showing them the information, kind of put a spin on it. I just want you to be strategic. Be prepared if they ask you about the house down the street that you don't have there. However, don't choke them with information. That's number 1. Number 2. All right. No, still, when I go back to strategically share what you know, that goes back to what we've been talking about for the last month or so. Who can share with us the only 3 things that we know? Really, 2 things we should know for sure, and 1 thing we should know. What is it, Louise?
That when the home goes on the market, one of 3 things will happen. Let a no showing.
Not yet. Now this is when we go in the listing presentation. This is when they've called us to help diagnose their problem. We are the professional, we are the doctor. There's 3 things that we can be pretty sure of. What are they?
That about them and us, like that they want to sell their home.
No, here we go. I wasn't
I
clear.
think we know what's happened in the past. We know what's happening right now,
Ooh.
and we're taking a guess as to what's happening in the future.
No, that's where you had 2 out of 3 is not bad. That's a pretty good batting average. That's 666. Well, that's a bad number. No, almost right. What we know for sure is past data, like that's your sales, etc., or what was on the market, failed to sell. Everything that's happened in the past is 100% knowable. All right, take a Polaroid of the snapshot or whatever of that neighborhood, the market. That's present. That's 100% knowable. And little twist there, Matt, on this. It's not a guess about the future. It is, we should have an understanding of the trend of the market. Fair enough? Would you buy that?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. So I don't go in, and I've had people role play, and this is why I'm talking about this. And they go in and sit down and they ask the seller, well, all right, what do you want to list it at? That's not what I'm teaching. I'm not saying you ask them. I don't want to go in the doctor's office kind of like limping and well, how do you want me to treat you today? You know what's wrong. I think we should then basically share what we know and have a conversation. This is a snapshot of the market. And also put it in there. I would ask them up front what they think the market's doing. So let's go back to the list, almost done, and we can role play. I want to clear this up. So once you share that information, doesn't that kind of automatically establish parameters? You guys?
Yes.
Homes
Yeah.
are selling in this range, homes are active in this range, whether or not, doesn't it automatically bracket the market? You don't have to say anything about it. This is how the market is reacting and responding, at whatever word you want to use. This is what's going on in the market. Remember, I'm not owning it. That's just what's happening. It's like looking at a ball game. You can find out. I'm a Bucks fan. So we've lost 4 in a row. I don't have any control over that. That is what's going on.
Mhm.
Now, here's number 2. This is what I suggest. Rather than suggesting a range, rather than suggesting, well, I think we should be in this range. Now you're starting to get your DNA on this. what I want you to do, this is what I'm teaching, I'm recommending you do. Hey, look, this is what's going on. Does this information, this data match your goals? Now, that's different than going in there and saying, well, what do you want for your home? You are coming off as a professional. I think that's our responsibility. The weatherman will give you a range of temperatures for the next 5 or 7 days, but he won't give you, or she won't give you an exact temperature. You're tracking with me so far, right? Next. Then here's the big difference. This is the big difference, guys. If they want a number outside that range, I have the knuckle bump before the conversation. That's as easy as I can say it. So the range is showing 550 and they want 650. I'm just going to say, listen, okay, if we were to list at 650, are you going to do business with me? Yes, knuckle bump. Then the last point is, I'm going to go, okay, now that we've agreed to work together, can I have a conversation with you? What's going to happen next? Does that clear it up for anybody?
Yes. Because I know expired that I was working on, and they had listed with somebody else over 100,000. And I've been talking to the man, but and I had showed him the comps and stuff, but I guess him trying to convince his wife never met with me. He'll talk to me every now and then. So he said he trying to get his wife to go down on the price because she think it's 100,000 more than what I guess the market is saying. So he said once we convince his wife, then we could list. But I told him let me meet with his wife, but he haven't gotten that far yet.
That could be a good role play. So, Louise, who on the chat here would like to get into a conversation role play? It doesn't have to be about pricing. It can be about anything. And let's dig into it.
I think Matt Cannon would like to.
Matt Cannon, what a great name. It's kind of like you should be in TV or something. Matt Cannon.
He has a good radio voice too.
Matt, what would you like to work on today?
Yeah, voice for radio, definitely a face for radio too.
No, you look pretty handsome in that picture. So what would you like to work on today?
You know what? I'm actually driving. I'm about to put a lockbox on at home. Let me pop in here in about 15 minutes to play something, if that's okay.
All right.
Congratulations on your new listing. Okay, well, next on my screen are Tanisha and Frank and Jocelyn and Jose. Would anyone like to speak up?
I can play something.
Jose,
Okay.
all right, what are we doing? What would you like to role play?
Expired on the phone. Or do you have to do it at the table?
I really don't want to work on the phone.
Let's go table then.
All right. Then you can go to Frank.
Hi, Frank. Everything after going over everything that we discussed today, are you ready to move forward today?
Well, I've had a bad experience. How can you make it a better experience?
Tell me about that experience that was bad for you, your past experience.
I'm going to
6
stop
months.
just a minute. I know we throw you into that, Frank, so you had to think of something really fast. I haven't started the timer. He's an expired. You called him. You're at the table. Do you think? I mean, the question is, why are you meeting him, Frank, if you had a bad experience?
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. We'll pick it up from there. Okay. Let's rewind.
Now, you can interview him because you had a bad experience, but that wouldn't be why you're not moving forward with him. Okay, so whatever you want, I just want you guys to be as realistic as possible. And I hope, Jose, you would pick up on the fact that, wait a minute, we talked about this morning on Recon. Why am I here? So I'll tell you what, Frank, here. I'll give you, pick a number 1 to 7. Oh, 6. 1 to 6. 1 to 6.
6.
There you go. You're at the table, expired. It expired. It was at 550,000. It was on the market for 90 days. And this is his question to you, Jose. What price do you suggest for my home?
Well, Frank, based on the information we see in the active listings that we have, those are competition. You've seen what we sold in the last 180 days. What do you think would be a good position to get your home sold at?
I think we gotta go more than that.
More than what, Frank?
You just said 550, if I'm correct.
Okay. And you have looked at the competition that we have right now in these current listings, and then you've seen the homes that has sold in the last 180 days, correct?
That's correct.
And what if we cannot get the 550 that you're looking
So
for?
Jose, I'm gonna stop you a minute. Now, again, you don't have to do it my way. You don't have to do it my way, but what is my way? See, you're trying to get him to lower his price before you've got the commitment.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
want you to consider getting a commitment before you go down that road.
Gotcha. Frank, other than price, am I the right agent to get your house sold based on everything we've gone over?
I like what you had to say, so I would say yes.
Okay, if we can agree to price, you're ready to put me to work for you today.
If you can, if you're really serious about what you're saying.
Yes, we're serious at High Tech. That's the reason we're here at the table today. Now, tell me a little bit about, you've seen the comparables we brought for you in the last 180 days. That's what's sold in the last 180 days. I'm spinning right now.
Yeah, let me
a
help you
little
out.
help.
So Frank, as you can see, the information I brought you, the Fisher body and the market has suggested homes like yours are selling between 550 and 500. Does that line up with your goals?
The 550 does.
Okay, so if we were to start it initial or position it initially at 550, are you ready to work with me today? That's what I wanted you to say. So are you ready to move forward at 550 today, Frank?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say he said 600. So I would say, Frank, remember, I'm just going to mimic what I told you up front. This is what the market's saying. You can bracket it. I think some people understood that I wouldn't give them a range. I'm not giving them a range. I'm only telling them what happened. The Bucks lost 4 games out of their last 4 games. That's knowable. So this is what happened in the market. 550 is the most expensive home. Does that meet your goals, Frank? That would be a no.
No,
You want 600.
I need 600.
Okay. So are you saying that if we initially position it at 600, you're willing to move forward with me today? I'm looking for the commitment, Jose.
Got it.
You kind of skated around it.
Got it.
Yes.
So do I have your commitment, Frank?
Yes.
Now, knuckle bump. And let me go back to the slide. If you don't think you don't like the system, then use your own. I just think it's pretty much bulletproof. Now that we've agreed to work together, Frank, do you mind if we have a conversation on what's going to happen next? So everything else you wanted to say to him before the knuckle bump may be okay. Why don't you get the knuckle bump first? So Jose, now that you've had that conversation, he wants 600 and you've knuckle bumped, you've got the listing, you haven't done the paperwork, but you got the verbal commitment. Now, what will happen next? What's going to be your conversation now?
3 outcomes.
Okay, well, role play that then with Frank.
Frank, three things are going to happen. Now that we agreed together and we're going to position your home as we agreed, 3 things are going to happen.
One of 3 things.
One of 3 things are going to happen. We're going to receive little action, little to no showings. We have no showings or the property sells.
Let's get them in the right order. 1. Who knows what number 1 is? Low to no showings. This is how it's easy. It's right there though, but it's low to no showings. And when you think about it, I mean, it makes sense. You put it, when you go fishing, you'll have no bites, or you'll have nibbles, but nobody catching no fish, or you'll catch fish, or maybe the boat will sink, but that's not really one of the options. So one is low to no showings, right? Showings and no offers, or it sells. All right, where do you go from there?
I don't know.
Okay, who wants to take it over? That's okay. So I might say, well, Frank, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the question. Write it down, Jose. What will you do if the market says no to 600?
Won't sell.
Okay, so you're okay owning it forever. Now he's getting on my nerves.
No, I just figured the market's gonna come up to that price.
I'm sorry?
I figured the market will come up to that price.
Okay,
Well,
so,
well,
and again, where do you go next, guys? I mean, if you got somebody, listen, I'm not saying you take overpriced listings if they have no motivation, but so you're selling for what reason? Let's just go back to your reason today. You want to go to Miami, be close to family, right?
Yes.
All right, so somebody else take it over. You've got the listing if you want, but he's still dragging anchor. Where would you take it?
Frank, what would you do if the market says no to the where we position your home? What does that do to your plans to moving to Miami?
Well, put some on hold for sure.
I think you asked two questions there. Ask it again, Jose.
Frank, if the market says no to positioning your home at 600, what does that do to your plans to move to Miami?
Okay, better.
It puts them on hold.
How important is it to get to Miami for you?
Well, it's pretty important because, I got some elder relatives that, they may any day not be here no more.
Now, Denny, is this where we travel Delta to try to get to what the positioning do, or?
Well, the challenge with Delta is, and Delta is the difference between two numbers. You don't have the second number. You only have his.
So what would you do at this point? Showing back to what the range?
No, I would-
timeline.
I give
Good
no,
timeline.
actually, what
timeline to meet again.
How long are you
to
prepared to
discuss.
wait?
you have to go to Payne. So Frank, what if the market never comes up to 600?
Then I guess I'm gonna have to drop my price.
Okay, now let me ask you something. Now, okay, I'm going to dig some more. So when you go to Miami, are you going to be buying a home in Miami?
Yep.
Now that should go ding, 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 ding somewhere in somebody's brain. What's going on?
Referral. Get a
Oh,
referral.
no, no.
No,
So you can sell this home to buy.
Yes. So you want to
Yes.
wait. So if you want to wait and get six, well, okay, he said he'd have to lower it. Well, let me just follow his line of thought. Well, how long were you willing to wait, Frank?
That's a good question. I'm thinking maybe 3 months, maybe less. I have to see
Okay.
what results we get.
Do you know what the worst thing that can happen, Frank, by waiting? Now we're going to be the doctor here, okay? We're going to have the same conversation you would have with him before the knuckle bump. What are some of the bad things that can happen for an unrealistic seller in a market that may be going down?
They're
Hmm.
chasing the wave. And their home is losing more value, more equity each day that they wait.
So how then, Louise, how would you then help him see that? How would you have that conversation with him? Remember, we have the knuckle bump. We're not signing papers because really, in reality, I'm still evaluating whether or not I want the listing. But
What
at
will
least I
hap-
have his commitment.
I would
what
ask
would
Frank,
you do if 3 months from now, the market was less?
Okay. So what happens in 3 months? So how, all right, so there would be a really good question to ask that should be asked on every buyer or seller you meet with. And that is, what, in your opinion of the market, Frank, as a seller and where you are now, is the market working in your favor or working against you?
I guess we know what the market is now.
But
And,
is it working in your favor? Is it going up or is it going down?
well, from what you tell me, it's going down. So I guess right now it's in my favor.
It's in you're saying it's in your favor?
Yeah.
Why would it be in your favor as a seller if it's going down?
Well, if we do it now, then it's in my favor. If it's going down, then it's working against me.
it's going down.
Yeah, so the market's going down, it is not in the seller's favor. So that means, Frank, when you wake up every day, your home is worth less money. True?
True.
So is waiting a good idea or not? You see what I'm doing? I could
Yeah.
tell him I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to get him to say it.
Self-discover.
Would
All
it
right.
be-
Basically, yeah. Yeah, no, now it's becoming clear that I better get it on the market, or I may end up a whole lot less money.
Would it be a good point to remind him that he's already waited 90 days and his home didn't sell?
But how would you, all right, maybe, so how would you do it? You just
Frank.
can't make a statement, Jose.
Right. How can we ask a question reminding him? Have you
I
already
know.
been on the market 90 days, Frank?
Can't you look at the market trends? And say
We already
90
know the
days
market
ago,
trends.
this was the median price. Today, this is the median price. What if we wait another 6 months and the median price is lower than that? And
Yeah.
quantify it.
Yeah, but you're missing a great opportunity to kind of like rub his nose in it.
Yeah.
You don't want to
How
make
will
him
you do it,
wrong.
Denny? How will you rub the nose?
Well, Frank, let me ask you, so you were on the market 90 days, right?
Yeah.
And let me show you something. Now, again, you're not telling him anything, you're showing him. And Louise had a great statement, used median price. If you notice the house down the street with the green shutters, which is like yours, that sold about 90 days ago. And it got that was a $550,000 sale. Now everything is below that. So let me ask you, so you're right, the market is going down. So let me ask you, if you could go back 90 days, would you do anything different? See, I'm putting his nose in it right now. I'm making him go back and I want him to say I made a mistake.
Well, it's obviously I had the wrong realtor because they advised me to keep it at that point.
All right. I got that. Well, we've solved that problem. You got the right real estate agent now, correct?
It appears to be.
However, you're maybe making the same mistake. Now, you guys here, this is getting really, really, this is the difference in mastery. I'm not telling him the mistake he's making. I'm leading him to discover it. What is the mistake he's making? He's got the right agent, but what mistake? You're making the same mistake right now, Frank. What is it, you guys?
Telling.
Pricing at the top of the market.
Yes, he's not listening to the market. He's listening to what he wants. So my question is, now this is what Louise was saying, and she got right to the heart of it. What happens in 90 days? You know, the market, you said you wanted to wait 3 months. That's 90 days. Do you know what this is? I want you guys to know the answer to this question. What is the worst thing that can happen for a seller in Frank's position? The worst.
It doesn't sell.
Based on market.
Market drops.
No, that doesn't sell. It's worse.
It's worse. Market drops quite a bit.
A
Right.
natural
Here-
disaster.
Well, yeah, that's a sucker punch. That could happen anywhere.
Hmm.
Here's the worst thing that can happen. You know what the worst thing can happen, Frank?
Doesn't
What's that?
sell.
Over the next 3 months, you're waiting to trying it at 600. Your neighbor down the street puts their home on the market and they're more motivated than you, and they listed it at 525. What's happening, guys? It happens all the time. Once that market starts to move downward, there's going to be someone that has to sell, or they have a relocation. They don't care about the number. The worst thing that can happen to an overpriced seller is the market erodes out from under them quickly. Somebody adds a data point. Now they won't even get 550. Y'all hear me on that?
Mhm.
Frank, would you like to help your neighbor sell their house, or would you like them to help your neighbor to help sell your house?
Oh, my neighbor helped sell my house. Exactly. I don't want to. I don't care if their house sells. I need to
That
get
sounds
mine
like a
sold.
Glover question.
No, I had this before I knew Glover.
All right. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for letting us beat up on you. Who's next?
No,
Louise?
no. This is good. I mean, because everybody gets a chance.
Here's- Can I try this?
Yeah.
I love it. And if Debbie Orr is listening to this, I want to give her a shout out. Frank, there are roughly two ways that you can price your home. You can price it to be competitive, or you can price it to negotiate. How would you like to price your home?
Hey, I like to negotiate.
You like to negotiate? When people negotiate, do they end up with a higher price or a lower price?
And they negotiate, they usually end up with a higher price.
No, they don't. They end up with a lower. Frank, they end up with a lower. You're negotiating down. Or do you want to be competitive?
Oh, I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about the market going lower. Yes. Yes, I now I get it. I'm thinking, I wasn't thinking market going down on that one. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take that, Louise. You said that before, and I don't know where you got that. Maybe that's a clever one.
No, it's
Um,
Debbie Orr. So when people overprice, they say, oh, let's just price it a little bit over, and that way we have some room to come down. We can negotiate it. Versus if you price it competitively, and then you have many buyers interested, and the price will typically increase.
See, I took that as if we have it lower, then we can negotiate the price up. If we're at the market value, we got nowhere to go. We're going to have to come down.
So here's the challenge I have with that statement. Again, no judgment, just I wouldn't use it because like role play with me, Louise. Okay, so we're looking at the same number, 500 to 550. All right, well, what number would we put it at to negotiate?
Slightly below the market value.
I'm sorry.
Slightly below the market value to attract buyers. And the more buyers we have, the more competitive it will be.
I got it. So now notice what she said. Slightly below market value. Where is market value?
I'm not putting my number on it.
You have to. You have to. If you're going to go down that road,
Wait, am I the agent or the seller?
you are the agent. I'm the seller. What's the market? So I'm asking you, what price should we list it at in order to be in the category to negotiate?
Do you feel like we should be, in order to be in the category to be competitive and attract the most, let's think of the day after Thanksgiving sale at Nordstrom. What is bringing people to the store?
That's what I'm asking you. You've shown me what the comps, I don't say comps in front of a client.
What do
The
you
past
say?
sales are between, 500 and 550. What would be a great number to position that, or I'll be a seller, to price it at in order to be in that negotiating range?
So this is me out of the role play saying, well, maybe I would say it even in the role play. This is something else I use and it works really well.
But don't weasel out of this.
No, I'm not. At an
Okay.
auction, okay, there are two auctions. Let's imagine there are two auction houses one across the street from the other. One auction house has one audience one person in the audience. The other auction house has many people in the audience. When the one product goes to bid by the auctioneer, which one has the higher probability of, or which auction house is going to have the better outcome?
I don't understand.
The more people that are in the audience bidding on
Okay.
the item, the higher the price is going to go. When there's no one to compete with you,
Okay, I get it. I get it. I'm gonna go back, fine. Where should we put it then?
You guys are killing me. I think still lower than the market.
Well, all right, Whitney, where's that?
he wants you to give him a
I
number, but
missed the beginning, but I'm like, all right, let's get to the point because
You can't use those fancy little, closes. Without being pressed for a number. You're begging to put a number on it.
Give me the example and I'll answer the question.
You showed me that past sales were between 5 and 550. The last one to 550 was about, 60, 90 days ago. All right. I'm really looking for 6. What do you say, Whitney?
I say, great. How do you think your property compares to the ones that recently sold?
I think mine is better because my wife sponge painted the garage.
I agree. It's beautiful. And you're looking for 600?
Yeah.
Are you? I would say let's list it at 549.
What? Well, what you
There's too many gray areas. You got to give it to me straight, or I don't know.
You broke the rule.
Yeah, I gave a price, and I typically wouldn't.
Well,
I would say, great. You
no,
saw.
they don't. Then this is what we're showing, and these guys want to learn how you're going to handle it.
Can I ask, Denny, you clearly have some thought here. Can we just reverse it and you be the agent?
Sure,
and we'll
absolutely.
press the number? Go,
Absolutely.
Whitney, press them hard.
All right.
All right, Denny, let's go. So my house is worth 600,000.
Okay. So if we agree to position at 600 today, are you willing to move forward with me?
Yes.
All right, knuckle bump. Now that we've agreed to work together, do you mind if I share with you what's going to happen next?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, now again, Jose brought it up right. You guys know the fishing sheet. All right, so when we put it on the market, one of 3 things are going to happen. I'll go over that with you. So my question is, Whitney, what are you going to do if the market says no to 600?
Well, we'll make an adjustment.
Okay, I get that. And how soon do you think that might be?
Let's give it like 2 weeks.
Okay, now again, fine. And all right, so I'll do one more thing. So I get that, no worries. Let me ask you, do you know what the worst thing that can happen? Or let me go back one question. So you all know. Well, all right, let me ask you, Whitney, based on your understanding of what's going on in your neighborhood, no wrong answer. Is the market working in your favor as a seller or working against you?
I think things have evened off. So maybe it's not so much working in my favor right now. So we need to sell fast for the most money.
When you said evened off, it's kind of level. Are you saying it's kind of level?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, note, you guys on this. Don't argue with them about it. It doesn't matter. You might have stats to say otherwise, but you're not going to convince them right away. It doesn't matter. That's not the hill I'm going to die on. All right. So then I guess then my issue is that when, and let me ask you then, you're going to Miami, right?
Yes.
What's going on with the market there from a buyer's perspective?
I don't know anything about Miami, but
Well, it doesn't really matter.
okay.
But
Yeah, I think it's a
you
great
would-
time. There's a lot of houses
You
on
would
the
have
market.
researched that. And why am I asking the question?
What was your question again, Denny?
You said what's happening in Miami market because essentially I'll be buying there.
I want to find out if she's aware. Many times, like for example, I'm teaching the Florida market's actually going down. I'm teaching in New Jersey. New Jersey market is actually pretty hot still, low inventory. So if they're going to a market that's moving upward, then I know that I'm gonna use the card that her home may be level, but waiting, she's gonna pay more for the house. I'm just getting this information.
That's
Well-
actually a good assessment because in San Diego, it's a way different market than a lot of other markets. So these people that are going elsewhere, it's like, yeah,
So we don't have to be on this the whole time is number one, you didn't pin me down. And but this is why I don't like to negotiate. Let's position it to negotiate. Okay, well, where is that? What number is that? And if you then, here's the other side of that. And you can use it. I just don't like it. Because what if they take your advice and you position it at 249, because that's how you're interpreting the market now, and that's where we're going to negotiate. Now what happens if you don't have any offers? So you can't negotiate. Now you set an expectation in their mind that an outcome's going to happen. This is our negotiating number. I just don't like setting expectations I can't control.
Can you go back to the example we were going over where you're like, hey, I was like, yeah, the market's evening off. I think we better hurry up and list it right now for 600 and let's take 2 weeks and
Okay, I would say,
finish that one out.
is there anybody on the call that wouldn't take a listing? They want $50,000 more than the last sale, but they're willing to reevaluate it in 2 weeks. Anybody, and they have motivation. Anyone would say no to that?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Nope. And the issue is this. If you knuckle bump before the conversation, you've got the listing. I have seen agents, and I've made the mistake myself. You start having a conversation. Well, that's too high. We should be here. We should be there. Now they're going to get cooled off and less excited about working with you. And there's a higher possibility. You know what? Because they're being bugged by other agents or people family members, right? I'll tell you what, I'll get back to you. Now they're going to go and have a conversation with another agent. Listen, when they're ready to sign the listing, get the commitment, then have the conversation about positioning. Have I beat this horse to death?
Yeah, no, it's good to get exercise. Has anyone had the situation where the family members and the friends say, oh, your house is worth so much more? And they come back to you, I have. And then I've said to the seller, are they going to buy your house for that price? Like everyone says it's worth it, according to the seller, but yet no one's knocking down the door. So are they going to buy it at that price?
That's a good one. All
Or,
right, I don't want to
they,
do
they
what you-
suggest that
I want
price.
you- This is
Why aren't they buying it?
This is study hall. I'm not teaching anymore. This is study hall. What do you want to practice? Come on, give me
How about
anything.
after the election fund? Because that's already occurred. So that excuse is out the window.
I said today, nobody thought it was very funny. I said this on Recon today. And I keep mentioning the Recon. If you don't know what it is, I think I've got a slide here for it. This is a daily thing. Anyway, I said, if you get the objection now, I want to wait until the election. What's a good follow-up question?
Which
Are you
election?
waiting 4 years?
Yeah, which election? You talking about midterms or the presidential, right? So if they're using that as an excuse, well, maybe they're not motivated. Well, I have some pre-planned objections here, and we can do whatever you want. I will never pay full price if you want to talk to about a buyer, or a buyer that might say, I want a good deal, or,
I like the first one. I'll never pay full price.
okay. So so who wants to play? Jocelyn, hey, how are you? How are things in Colorado?
We got a lot of snow.
Well, how come you're not out there? What do they call those things?
Snowboarding, skiing.
No, you're what do they call it, a boomer? When somebody goes
Uh-oh.
fast.
Ski
Anyway.
bunny. I don't
Nothing
know.
of it. All right, so Louise, Jocelyn, you're the buyer. It says I will never pay full price. Louise, you can handle that.
Well, actually, this one. Jocelyn.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Jocelyn. Other than the price, is there any reason you wouldn't want to submit an offer on this home?
No, I just think, I do want to submit an offer. I just think we should go in low.
Okay. And let's look at the market. Let's look at the other sales that have occurred in the neighborhood. How do you feel like this home compares to these other 2 homes that have recently sold?
Well, it's comparable, definitely, but I just think sellers are always listing high and they have room to negotiate, so we might as well go lower.
And side note, I'm just gonna say that it's possible that this listing agent priced it competitively, okay? So I'm coming back in.
Well,
But
hang on one second. How would you know? How would you know
looking
that?
at the condition of the home and looking at the past sales,
There's a better way to know.
Lower?
There's a better way to know if they did or didn't.
how? Tell me.
How long has it been on the market?
It's the first week on the market.
Now that's tough. That's tough.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's just assume it's been on the market a week. That's the most challenging time for
Okay.
a buyer.
1 week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it doesn't have an offer yet, then we shouldn't have to pay full price.
So Jocelyn, it's been on the market for 1 week. The instructions, the broker, the listing agent has specified that the seller is going to review all offers at the end of the week. So that would be tomorrow.
Okay. Has she let you know there's offers?
Great
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
There is other
There are
offers on
other
the table.
offers. Mhm.
Okay. Well, we can
Okay,
look at a
good.
different.
This
Sorry.
is gonna be good.
We can look at a different house then. I don't think it's worth it to go over
Oh
asking
my
price.
gosh. It's really
Okay,
committed to
Jocelyn,
that.
let me ask you this. Again, other than the price, does this satisfy all of the things you're looking for in a house?
Yeah, it fits,
Okay.
it checks almost all the boxes.
Okay. And again, other than the price, the condition you agree is superior to the condition of the past sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this price of this house is lower than the past sales. Is it possible that it was priced to be competitive, to elicit multiple offers?
I guess so. Yeah, if it's lower than the other sales and it's in better condition, that could make sense.
And let me ask you, what is the amount of money that you would like to save on this? Like, what would your ideal purchase price be for this house?
Under the list price.
By how many dollars?
Anything,
It's
$1,000.
1.3. It's 1.3, Josh. So
It's 1.3. I want it for 1,275.
Okay, so for 25,000, how would you feel if a week from now this home was no longer available to you and the other homes that are available to you do not satisfy all of the needs and the wants that you have?
That would be unfortunate. I mean, I'm a cash buyer, so shouldn't that help?
Essentially, all of these offers are cash in the sense that they're either they have proof of funds or they've already gone through underwriting with their lender.
Okay.
Louise, let me give you a little direction here. Ask her why she doesn't pay full price.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Jocelyn, help me understand what is it about full price that concerns you? Paying full price that concerns you?
I've never paid full price for a real estate transaction, so I'm not going to start today.
Okay, so what if this home were 1.35? Would you offer 1.325 or 1.3? Or what would you offer if it were 1.35?
Okay, I see where you're going. I would probably offer 1.3.
So I'm going to pause right there. So that was kind of like one of those V8 moments there. So now you went down the
That
right.
was great.
So that's why I wanted you to get on the road. If someone doesn't want to pay full price, that's an emotional issue. It makes no sense. And particularly if she's carrying anything Chanel. Because she paid full price for Chanel. And then in Breckenridge, you've got your share of people that wear Chanel, right?
Yeah.
So that, you see how that unraveled right away? By the way, if you want a buyer that wants a deal, all right, so, oh, that's the next one. This is a sister to it. Who wants this?
I want a good deal.
Oh,
I
who wants to
I
play?
can try.
All right, Jocelyn, you're gonna go to Whitney. Be careful with her.
Whitney, be easy on me.
Do my best.
Okay. Okay, Whitney, so I understand that you want a deal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And don't you think that other people are looking for the same thing?
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Okay, other than.
Before you guys go drilling, get clarity.
Okay.
Isolate and then
Yes.
define.
Yeah. Can you explain to me what a good deal would be for you?
Anything less than what it's being sold for.
Okay, well, what if it's extremely overpriced? Would that be a good deal if you just got it a little bit under and it's at the market value?
No, because I don't want to pay for anything overpriced.
Correct. So can you explain to me the type of property you're looking for that would be considered a good deal?
You're going down a
Like-
road that's gonna be very complex right there when you have them describing property. Don't get tangled in the property, guys. You gotta get tangled in this.
Isolate it. Other than,
Yeah, but even, okay.
Or
right,
what's a good deal? That's what
Yeah,
you want
like,
to know. Is what's a
I
good
know,
deal?
well, like, what is a good deal? And anything under what it's listed for doesn't necessarily mean it's a good deal.
so now you're leading, right? So just ask her the question.
What's a good deal?
Again,
Sometimes-
anything cheaper than what it's listed for.
Okay.
Because I'm a consumer,
this-
so look at it that
So
way.
I know this property is listed for 755, but I know the realtor very well, and I know that they're willing to list it for, or they're willing to let it go for much lower than that. So that would be a good deal. Is that something that you're interested in offering on?
No,
If I
okay,
can get
so
it
wait a
for
minute, wait a
700,
minute.
that's a great deal.
Hang on.
All
I
right,
don't
let's
want-
write the offer.
Whoa. I don't want you to sound like the normal real estate car salesman. How do you know it's a good deal? How do you know it's a good deal?
Well, I'm relying on you.
No. I'm going, Jocelyn's got this listing. I know this agent and they got it at 750 and I know they'll take a lot less. That's a good deal. Really?
Yeah.
And number two is, are you allowed to share that information?
They told me if I work with a client, I am doing whatever's I'm their fiduciary. I'm not,
Well,
So it's
chances
possible.
are the listing agent shouldn't have shared it though.
the listing agent shouldn't have
possible.
shared that with me.
It's possible it's a good deal, but it may not be just because they're going to sell it below the asking price.
But it is going to be significantly lower. It's already lower than all of the recent sales.
All
And
right,
if we
so
can
let
get
me-
it even lower than that, then it would be a good deal.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, well, yeah, I get
Where-
it. So let me help you out here. So Whitney,
Okay.
let me ask you. What's more important to you? A good deal or a home that you like?
I need both.
Okay, so let me ask you then, so I understand, you said a good deal is buying it under the asking price, correct?
Buying it under market value.
Okay,
So
you've been
you
saying
want something under
asking price.
market value.
I was getting confused there because you've been saying under the list price, not under
I'm
market.
playing the consumer game that they don't actually probably know the difference.
That's
Right.
okay.
no.
Let me land the plane. So you want it below market value, right?
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Okay, so how are you going to determine what market value is?
Well, that's why I hired you. Aren't you gonna do your homework before I write an offer, so I'm not overpaying?
Well, I mean, a market value is within a range. And so if the home is listed within the range of other homes, we would consider that within market value. Now, if we found that, would that qualify for what you're looking for?
I would say yes. I'm ready to write an offer and I would like to see comparables, so I know I'm getting a good deal.
there is no way this buyer's buying anything. The deal would never be good enough.
Well, and that's
Wait,
what I thought.
wait,
I
I
just
think
said
we do.
yes
I
because
think
I didn't
Whitney.
know.
Hey, Whitney,
Yes.
I don't have a crystal ball, but because you hired a professional like me, we've gone through an exercise to determine what we feel a market value, a market price is for this home. And it's listed below that. And I, again, don't have a crystal ball, but how would you feel if the appraiser came back with an amount that was higher than the amount you offered? Would that be a good deal?
Oh,
That
That's
would be
like the
instant
weed.
equity. That's what we call instant equity.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But for the sake of, do clients actually talk like that? Or would they understand that? I don't think they're even willing to write an offer to get to that point, to play the game of you may have equity.
well, I'm gonna stop there a little bit. I wouldn't go down that road either. Here's kind of almost a rule for me. Never involve an appraiser.
Yeah. Never works
Never.
well.
It will not help you. In Florida, the market's kind of going down, right? And so they're going to use past sales and the market's going to be below that. It won't represent market value. Here's where agents really kind of screw themselves up when they can't agree on the market price. They say, well, let's get an appraiser. So the appraiser goes out there and let's go back to our 5 to 550 and the seller wants 6. Well, let's get an appraisal. Now the appraiser comes in and says, well, it's probably going to be worth like 570. Now, it will take more than dynamite and C4 to ever get that seller below a number, and you set it up that way. Don't ever involve an appraiser in a valuation situation, unless you're doing it for an estate. But if you have to, the appraiser can walk away. They got paid, and you know what? They don't have to deliver it.
So I'm just trying to understand what she considers a good deal, right?
So I have a question, and this might clarify for this example. Let's pretend everything in the neighborhood sells for 700,000 and I'm a buyer and I'm like, cool, I want a deal. And I'm like, great, everything in this entire neighborhood for the last whatever has sold for 700,000. What's a deal to you? Oh, 675, right? Denny, where are you going to pick that up from?
Okay, here's what I'm going to say to you, really. Then we're running close to the top of the hour. Don't leave. This will be good. Well, I'll tell you what, I probably not gonna be able to help you then.
Okay, perfect.
Because if I find it, I'll buy it, or I've got people that will buy it. You'll never make it to you.
Yeah, no, and there's a lot of those buyers, right? That are like, cool, everything's selling for this. And they're like, oh, well, I want to pay. I just talked to a guy yesterday and he's like, I want to pay 550. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're competing with every investor in the world. And
Nope.
Wouldn't this
Oh.
be a good opportunity to introduce the story?
Say it again.
Wouldn't this be a good opportunity to introduce the story of the buyer that we've all had that walked away from a deal, and here they are 3 years later wishing it, in hindsight, they saw what a great deal that was.
Yeah, I think if you've got, yes, stories are awesome, always really handy. Here's the thing, if you've got somebody looking for a deal that's too good to be true, you don't need them. I mean, I want hair like Brad Pitt. I say it all the time. I'm probably not going to get it. So one more thing I want to share though with it is a very helpful thing. When you've got somebody that says, I want a good deal, or particularly this one here, I'll never pay full price. And so watch this. So Louise, I'm coming to you. So if you don't want to pay asking price, okay, then we'll have to change our strategy. You know what our strategy is going to be?
Based on market.
Yes.
What is that going to be?
Yes. Who said that?
Thursday.
Yeah. So we're going to have to look at the homes nobody else wants. Now, could you say that to your buyer? I could. We're going to have to go. When I remember growing up, they probably still have it somewhere, where if you have a can of beans in the store and it's dented, they put it in the dent can bin. They discount the can because it's got a dent. We're going to have to look in the dent can bin. Jose, stay with me. You're all right. So if you want to get something below asking price, we're gonna have to go to the homes that nobody else wants. Is that okay?
No, I want what I want for the price that I want.
Okay, well, the issue is, then if, is everybody, do you think there's other people looking for that?
Yes.
And you think there's people there that may be a little bit more generous than you are, that are willing to pay for what it's worth instead of looking for a deal on a home that's a hot commodity?
Yes.
So my question is this, and here's the point I want to go. You're setting yourself up for failure. You know why? If someone were selling $100 bill for $110, would you buy it?
No.
No. If someone were selling $100 bill for $98, would you buy it?
Immediately.
But that's not the strategy you're using to buying the house, because you say you're going to look at asking price, and that's how you're going to determine whether that's a good deal or not. You see, I'm using something very simple just to help them understand that asking price has no bearing necessarily on the quote value or the good deal. Everybody looking at me, that makes sense. You kind of look at me like
I love that.
Yeah, it's
It
perfect.
went over my head. Of course, as long as I can buy the $100 bill for $100 or less, it's a good deal.
But no, his strategy is, I'm never going to pay asking price. So if someone were asking $98 for $100 bill, a home, they're asking less than it's worth. You're going to walk away and try to make an offer on it. Would you walk away from someone selling $100 bill for $98? No. Well, there may be a seller out there, and this could be the example you're talking about, Wendy, or Jocelyn. For example, one of my friends has got this condo for sale for $700, and you know what? They said they take a lot less. See, I would never show you that because you are basing everything off asking price. That was probably not a good example, but you get what I'm saying. So did you guys hear anything today, or was I just like dust in the wind? Who's that? Journey? No, it's not Journey. Dust in the wind.
I think the dollar bill example really sums it up in layman's terms, and it's like black and white, right?
Kansas. Is it Kansas? Way to go, Justin. Nice job. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So we have that, and again, we have some others. I've added some others here that we'll work on next week. Somebody share an aha. What'd you learn today? Dollar bill. Thanks so much for that, Jose. What else?
Steps to seller positioning.
Ah, good. Anything else?
There's unrealistic people and you probably don't want to work with them.
Yeah, I get really uncomfortable when it comes to defining what a good deal is. I mean, I know what you mean. I've seen market values. And you know what, here's the other thing. A good deal in what time frame? Right?
So subjective.
It
I like
is.
the way Louise said, if this house is perfect and it was listed at this price, what would you be willing to offer? You know, if you're not willing to pay list price or you want a deal, okay, what if the home was listed higher? Would you offer
Yes.
this price?
Yeah, that
Either
was
way, you're gonna pay this price.
Yeah, that was a bullseye question, Louise. Bullseye.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, guys. Well, have a good weekend. It's happy hour somewhere, I'm sure.
Thank y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.